Welcome back, everybody. So today's video, Atlantic Division, NHL. Let's get right to it. Boston Bruins coming off of a Stanley Cup loss to the St. Louis Blues. Really didn't do much in free agency. Signing Brett Ritchie, Par Lindholm, that's literally just going to be fourth-line guys for them. Biggest thing for them, getting Charlie McAvoy and Brandon Carlo re-signed, RFAs. Yeah, there's not much to them.
I mean, they're
going to be good.
They're doing
obviously.
something smarter than their division rival in Toronto. They're getting their key guys signed to relatively
really reasonable deals,
salary cap friendly deals, and
yeah.
I mean, really, they'll probably just be right back in it.
Yeah, the biggest thing for them, I think, Jake DeBrusk. I think he's gonna break out this year. I thought he was gonna break out last year. I mean, he almost put up 30 goals last year. That's in a way.
What more do they need?
But I think this kid can be a 70 point guy, roughly. He's so good. I think a little bit more consistency out of him, and I think he'll be up there.
Okay.
Buffalo Sabres, I mean, made a lot of moves. Traded for Colin Miller. Traded for Brandon Montour at the deadline. Traded Alex Nylander for Henry Jokiharju. That blue line is absolutely crowded because now right-handed defenseman, you have Colin Miller, you have Brandon Montour, Henry Jokiharju, you have Zach Bogosian. That's 4 defensemen right there. They're all right-handed. And then you have Rasmus Ristolainen.
Mm-hmm. So
that's 5 guys, which leads to speculation that Rasmus Ristolainen might get traded. That'll be a blockbuster deal if that goes down.
I still think they're probably a couple years away.
For me, their biggest thing is goaltending. I mean, they shored up more depth-wise on the offense, signing Marcus Johansson, and then they got Jimmy Vesey from the Rangers. They drafted Dylan Cousins, who I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
I think this kid, I don't think he's a center in the league, but even though he's playing like center in juniors, I think this kid's a right winger, and he reminds me of Jerome McGinley. He's good. He just going down the wing. His shots are amazing. He's like a clone of him almost. But yeah, like you said, I don't think they're a playoff team this year unless they get unreasonable goaltending. That goaltending situation there, Carter Hutton, Linus Ullmark. I don't think you can roll with those 2 goalies to make the playoffs. Well, move on. Detroit Red Wings, another team that's not making the playoffs. Really didn't make any moves. Got Valtteri Filppula back. They have prospects in Joe Veleno and Philip Zadina, who are complete studs. I mean, they're amazing. And then in the draft, Detroit, I know you wanted a right-handed defenseman, and you draft Moritz Seider. You could have traded down. You really could have. You had the 6th overall pick, and you took Moritz Seider, who was projected to be in the 20s, at 6. Is he going to be good? Probably. I don't know his offensive ceiling. I don't know how top tier it is.
But just a pretty big reach.
But 6. Defensively, he's really good. But that's a reach. Yeah, they really didn't do anything. They're still going to suck this year.
That's a bold word.
It's not bold. Like, they're straight up. They're just going to be bad this year. I mean, literally, it's going to be them and Ottawa at the bottom of their division this year.
Jeez.
Florida Panthers made a lot of moves.
They needed to.
You had Roberto Luongo retire, which...
It was about time.
It's about time, but it sucks. Growing up watching him play, it's a new era. But, they signed Sergei Bobrovsky, massive deal. Massive. Signing a depth guy in Brett Conley, who's probably going to fill in and get a 2nd or 3rd line. Real good, solid guy. Signing Anton Strawman, depth guy on defense. I mean, really need to shore up that defense. They made a trade. They traded James Reimer to Carolina for Scott Darling. Bought out Scott Darling. So that move's not that major, but it's still a move nonetheless.
Okay.
And then in their draft class, they drafted Spencer Knight at 13. He's projected to be like the next, I think they said Carey Price in terms of where this guy can go potential-wise.
So they signed the big free agent goalie and they drafted.
Yeah, they drafted a future
a kid
stud.
that can.
He's going to come in 3 years from now, be a backup,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Just,
around that year 4 marker, I think he takes over the reins. But like at the same time, you signed Bobrovsky to 7 years. I don't.
You gotta hope he probably goes at least 5.
Yeah, but you got Spencer Knight, and I don't. It doesn't make too much sense. I don't agree with the term, how long they signed Bobrovsky, but it is what it is. They have playoff aspirations, though. We'll talk a little bit later whether or not we think they can get in. Montreal Canadiens, another team that has playoff aspirations, signed Nick Cousins, who literally that's like 4th line, but he was a shootout stud in Arizona. Like he would score on the majority of the goals when he would be put in the shootout. Signed backup goaltender Keith Kincaid. I mean, he's better than Anthony Niemi, so that's for sure. They tried getting Sebastian Aho, signed him to an offer sheet, but obviously Carolina matched it. And then Nick Suzuki and Ryan Poehling. Do you remember Ryan Poehling's debut? Had a hat trick in his debut against Toronto. Currently, Ryan Poehling is actually out with a concussion right now.
Brutal.
But I think both these two kids can make the team out of camp. I mean, they are so good. Ryan Poehling played for Team USA in the juniors, and he was great, absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Ottawa Senators.
Do we really even need to say anything? I mean,
they suck.
Yeah.
This franchise is going downhill fast. I mean, you have 2 bright spots: Thomas Chabot and Brady Tkachuk. That's it. That's your bright spots. That's all you got. You could have had the 4th overall pick this past year, but you traded that away for Matt Duchene.
And where's he now?
Yeah, exactly. They signed Thomas Chabot, I think, could be a really good deal, 8x8, but yeah, they didn't. They made some moves, got rid of some guys, some veterans, getting rid of Zach Smith for Artem Anisimov, trading Cody Ceci for Nikita Zaitsev and Connor Brown. This team's just bad all around.
Ottawa as a city is just going to suffer for a few years.
Yeah.
And, it might not even just be a few years. It might
these
be.
next 2 teams, they're not going to be suffering.
Oh, no. Heck no.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Today, actually, they re-signed Braden Point to a 3-year, $6.75 million contract, which is a steal. I think he had 92 points, somewhere around that point total. 92 points for under $7 million. Wow. Signing depth guys and Patrick Maroon, Kevin Shattenkirk, Luke Shen. They have like 7 goalies. They signed Curtis McElhinney, so who knows. They were able to trade Ryan Callahan's contract away, which freed up the cap space to sign Braden Point. And then drafted Nolan Foote. Little tidbit about Nolan Foote. His brother Cal Foote was also drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, which Cal Foote might actually make the team this year. I don't know, though, with the acquisition of Kevin Shattenkirk and Luke Shen. I don't know if he'll make the team, but before those moves, I could see him.
Okay.
Tampa Bay's going to be good. There's no question about it.
There's no reason they shouldn't be.
Yeah, barring injuries, of course.
Knock on wood.
Let's move on.
Finally.
Last team, Toronto Maple Leafs. Signed Mitch Marner to a big contract. I agree with it to an extent.
I mean, in turn, the guy probably did deserve it.
He deserves it.
But when you already signed a handful of other guys to massive deals,
Tavares making a lot. Matthews making a lot. Nylander's just under 7.
Yeah. And
now Marner's just a tad under 11.
What's it going to come to in a few years? Just say now, because if it's obviously a win-now situation and you don't win, That looks really bad.
Let's touch up on some other moves. They signed Jason Spezza. I mean, really, you're signing the corpse of Jason Spezza because he is not once what he used to be. They got Jordan Schmaltz, literally maybe bottom pairing guy. Signed Michael Neuwirth to a professional tryout contract. Hopefully he could be the backup goalie there. And then their big move, trading Nazem Kadri for Alex Kerfoot and Tyson Barrie. I like the move. I like that one a lot. You get Tyson Barrie. Probably, I don't know if he slots in next to Morgan Riley because both are offensive defensemen. But that's a big time addition. And you get Alex Kerfoot, who literally will probably slot in on that third line right where Kadri was. And he's cheaper than Kadri was. So that makes sense. And then you traded for Cody Ceci, which is okay because you got rid of Nikita Zaitsev. Because Nikita Zaitsev was overpaid, $4.5 million for the next 6 years. So Cody Ceci was, I think he was an RFA. You signed him to a 1-year deal. You literally signed him to a $4.5 million contract of what Nikita Zaitsev had. And granted, Nikita Zaitsev had term left, but you literally paid the same amount. I mean, Cody Ceci had promise, but I don't know.
I mean, if it's 1 year, it's
not that bad, but come on. So realistically, playoff.
This one's really not even that hard.
Playoff top 3. It's
any order.
No order. It's Tampa, Toronto, Boston.
Unless something like you said, barring injury, it's not really.
And then for me, it's gonna be a dogfight between Florida and Montreal for getting a wild card spot.
Yeah. And that's not even necessarily guaranteed, but it's just if it's one of these.
If anybody else is coming out of this division, it's going to be one of those two teams.
I'm more confident in probably saying Montreal. Because Florida.
Don't underestimate Florida.
I won't, but I'm just saying.
Their biggest issue was goaltending last year, and you get one.
You get the premier goaltending.
Yeah, you get top 5 goalie.
Yeah, free agent. I don't know. Montreal should be in it.
I'll say Montreal will make the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
If Max Domi can repeat what he did last year, and if Jonathan Drouin doesn't go cold in the second half of the season.
Well, I mean, this one wasn't that really.
This one's not that bad.
No, because you have the 2 bottom feeders, obvious
bottom feeders.
And then Buffalo's wishy-washy.
Just kind of there, honestly.
They could either be with the 2 of them or competing, and then that leaves you with Florida and Montreal.
Both of which I think are very respectable, and both teams are on their rise.
And I'm just saying this, and I'm sure you could probably agree with it. If the top 3 teams fall to the wild card spot, it might be a fail because those 3 are expected to be there.
Yeah. I mean,
and
realistically, those 3 teams should be 100-point teams each.
Should be.
Top 3
and
teams.
If they don't, it's a failure if they don't get to 100 points. Now, granted,
I don't know
you wouldn't want to see any of them as a wild card team. You wouldn't.
I think Toronto would be happy to see be a wild card team.
So they don't have to face Boston again.
Yeah, or I mean,
but it would get interesting because then you wouldn't have the same matchup every year.
Yeah.
Because obviously Tampa's in a league in its own, their own.
But I don't know. I think Montreal could be a
surprise.
A little bit of a surprise team.
But at least we're in agreement. It's
it's
those 5.
Those 3.
It's 3 of the 5 that we said.
It's those 3, and then it's the next 2, and then you have.
Well, there it's mainly pretty much. I'm safe to say Tampa, Toronto, and Boston, Florida and Montreal.
Yeah.
Buffalo's there. They can move, and then there's Ottawa and Detroit.
Yeah, that's a simple.
But I mean, this one was pretty simple. The next one's gonna be.
The next one's
gonna be fun because our teams are in it, and it's gonna be fun to debate that.
Yeah, and literally, I can see every team except for one team in that division making the playoffs. But that's for the next video. So.
We'll have to wait and see for that one.
Catch you guys next time. Next video should be week 4 of the NFL.
Well, week 3 recap. Week 3 recap, and then week 4 predictions, which should come out in the middle of the week. So.
Yep. See you guys next time.